And welcome to the 359 podcast. It's episode 334 on
Tuesday, December 19th.
And this is a pre-tape show. We're doing a little bit of filler because we are on hiatus for a minute throughout the holiday season and getting ready to hit the road to the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas and so on and so forth. So for right now, we're just having a little fun, so bear with us if you actually care about important tech headline topics.
You're not going to get it.
This is not the show for you today.
Sorry.
Anyways, Ben, what are we going to be chattering about today?
We wanted to focus on the second season of Stranger Things. We do, for these filler shows, sometimes talk about just like whatever is fun and streaming. We did one on Game of Thrones once. So we actually all watched Stranger Things season 2.
I've been wanting to talk some smack for a while now.
Yeah, apparently you watched it like over the course of like one night.
Day.
Yeah, so I took a little bit longer, but we wanted to highlight some of our favorite stuff from the season, what to expect from season 3, and whatever else pops up into our heads. So why don't we start off with like what were your favorite moments from season 2?
I loved the bottle episode where Eleven goes off and finds her like sister.
Mm-hmm.
I love that one. I thought
You
it was
might be
great.
the only person in the world that liked that episode.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Then
think most
I
people
feel like
hated
we've
that
found
episode.
each other.
You liked it too.
We must be perfect for each other because I also like that episode.
We must have been held in a lab when we were children and
Yeah.
formed a kind of
Are you two
bond.
psychic brothers and sisters too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Oh, wow.
What was bad about that? That's like a hilarious and fun episode.
It was so weird. It was like 11 joins the X-Men or something like that. And then there
Which
was so
is
many
super
parts in
boss.
it where I just thought like this doesn't make any sense at all. If they had these kinds of powers, why didn't they just like do this other thing from the beginning? Like if they could turn themselves invisible, why didn't they just kill people while they were invisible?
wait,
And then
what?
not get
Who
caught?
turned invisible?
No one turned invisible.
The other girl, 8 or whatever, when she can like
They don't
make-
actually become invisible.
yeah, but they can make them see different things, right?
Yeah.
Why do they have to wear masks if she has that power?
Well, I think it's been well established that none of their powers are actually at their peak. I
Yeah.
think that's
But-
why she's like, you have to hold still. I can't do this if you're
But,
moving or
like,
something.
she didn't need
and
to
her
wear
walls kept
masks.
crumbling
It's-
and but the mask made it cool
there were
and
parts
creepy.
in that episode that I thought like this is dumb. You have all these powers and you're doing like stupid teen things.
And
Well, they
I,
are stupid.
They're
teens.
stupid teens.
That's the point.
I totally,
And then
I totally
they never
bit on that
explain
episode.
why that whole crew is assembled in the first place. Like,
Okay,
Because
I
they're
will.
outcasts.
I will
how
admit.
do they need to have a
Man, it's the '80s. Outcasts find each other.
It feels like they're like setting up for a spin-off series just for those kids.
That
Which would be
incredible!
amazing.
Yes, yes. This is gonna tear the podcast apart. I feel like you're never
Podcast is
gonna go
already a broken home.
359 Civil War.
right. But yeah, I thought that was a very cool episode. But I agree that there were certain like it was the flavor eventually became too much.
Yeah.
Like X-Men.
Well-
I kind of thought that like maybe 8 should have had a similar power to 11. Instead, they like have all these like different kinds of powers, which means maybe in other seasons they're gonna discover what 7 did or whatever.
They were testing the waters to see how much they can grow this franchise. They don't want it to just be about these kids forever and always. They want to be able to expand this into its own universe. You
Yes.
know, they want to marvel.
Really?
They want to marvelize it. Who doesn't want to
Seriously.
marvelize?
Too Strange, Too
Yes.
Furious, Tokyo Strange,
the fate of the strange
crossover with Doctor Strange, Doctor Stranger Things.
No, everybody's about world building now. Am I right?
Yeah.
I would be
except
really
for DC
surprised
because they keep screwing it up. But no.
You know
Look
what's
at-
interesting about
and
that?
Universal with the Dark Universe, they want to build this. They want to they want to serialize everything.
So we actually, it's interesting that you say about the DC universe because as much as everybody knocks the DC universe and how they haven't been that successful, Jonah and I looked up Box Office Mojo for 2017.
Oh, they made money,
Wonder Woman was number 2 in the box office, and, what
and
was
it's
it,
the highest
Justice-
grossing superhero film of all time.
And
But
Justice League was number 10. So DC did pretty well for themselves, all things considered.
those
Maybe the
movies are always going to make money, though, even when they
But
suck
they-
hard.
But
Hell,
they made
Wonder Woman
the
was pretty
most.
solid.
Okay, but what if
Steel
we-
made money.
Okay, so if we had a Netflix originals universe building, right? So what do we have, like Narcos and like the Upside Down?
That would be incredible. I love your ideas today. I feel like you're making jokes about this, but Narcos on the Upside Down and a spin-off of The Outcasts.
But-
I would watch the hell out of all of them.
But not House of Cards.
BoJack Horseman
No.
and House of Cards.
Not
No,
House of Cards.
not
House of
House
Cards
of
is,
Cards.
you know, okay. That's House
Dead
of
in the
Cards
water.
is gonna. They're gonna have to go through their last season, and then we'll see what happens. So, I don't know. Anyway, can we get back to the favorite moments from season 2?
Yeah, I thought we just talked about that.
We talked about Jones. What about
Yeah,
yours?
I liked it when Bob died.
Oh my gosh, Alfred, you are the worst.
I thought.
You're fired.
Spoiler alert. We should have started with a
I
spoiler
mean,
alert. and we
this whole
didn't.
thing was a spoiler, wasn't it?
No, it's
was,
okay. I've
it
taken
was.
a poll. Literally everybody on Earth has seen Stranger Things too.
Yeah, and yeah, I thought it was a really good scene. I thought
It was a good scene. I'll admit that.
I also think he was really dumb for doing that too. But he dropped the broom. He couldn't check that.
What I don't.
And then
remember
the
what
other
you're
thing
talking
too,
about.
like, why is it that only Bob dies in that part? Like the Demogorgon dogs only attack him. Like they're clearly there eating him while there's 3 alive people
Oh,
just
come
standing
on,
around
that's-
looking in horror.
because
like,
those are zombie rules. Once the zombies get one person, they
it
just focus on eating that
It made
person.
no sense.
No. That's totally typical zombie. You know, like we got one on the
Yeah,
ground.
I know.
we're gonna
I know.
get
I
him.
sound very negative about this, but I did enjoy the series. This is just how
Can't
I
even tell if you're
This
serious.
is just how I view and take in things.
okay.
Now, the plot hole I found in that though is how come the Demodogs ate Bob, completely,
Right.
but so many people were left killed
Just, like,
and
Were made.
slightly
Yeah,
chewed,
like
and
the,
then the doctor
scientist dude. Yeah,
who
he
got
out
was like,
scot free.
just
It's like,
my
oh,
leg,
I hurt my knee a little
my
bit,
leg, and I'm just standing here. in
but
this
Bob was
airway.
tasty.
It's I agree. What was it? Sheriff Hopper. He should have died in like whatever that like weird tunnel thing
yeah,
was.
yeah.
And it just so
Also-
happened that they saved him at the very last
Also,
minute.
Billy seducing the mom. That was a pretty cool scene.
That was hilarious, actually.
I thought that
It
was
was really
kind of
hilarious.
brilliant on their part that they were able to give you one last breath of levity before everything kind of
So,
went to hell.
One of the things that I
That's my
heard-
favorite part about that show is its
because I did
pacing.
watch the after show for the second season, is that if you notice when the mom is in the bath and she doesn't want to have to answer the door, and
She has the book.
the
right?
book
Like,
has
it
his
looks
picture
just
like
No.
has his picture as like a like
It's a
Oh, that's
romantic
actually him?
novel.
yeah, they put his face.
I noticed that,
on-
but I didn't know it was
yeah.
actually him. I was like, that looks
I
just
think
like
so.
him. Yeah,
It might be. I mean, it's an illustration, but I
Is
think
that
it's
foreshadowing for season 3?
that's the new villain.
Ugh. He is.
It's
pretty
not any
villainous.
monsters. Now it's just somebody like trying to break up your family.
Yeah.
The real monster in life.
well. If we did favorite parts, I can. Although favorite parts has become Alfred's hated parts, but one of the things that I didn't like is that character. What's that character's name? The older brother.
Billy.
Stepbrother, Billy. I didn't really like. I know that they like felt like they needed to have a non-paranormal like antagonist, and so that's why they introduced him. But it kind of felt like they didn't really need.
I actually
to have
felt
him.
like they didn't capitalize on that entire subplot enough. I
Yeah.
was expecting more backstory, not
Yeah, and
necessarily
that's why-
completely tied in, but a little more character building to. Oh, what was the girl's name? The younger
Maxine.
sister, Maxine, to
Yeah.
Mad Max. I thought we were going to get a few more answers about her backstory
Yeah.
through him.
That was
and it's just like,
not
oh,
resolved.
their family life did suck, but it didn't give you anything definitive outside of
also
the fact this is why she's kind of impersonal. And it's like, it worked. I just thought they were setting
There
it for a
might
lot
be-
more.
There might be more to come. Yeah, I agree with you.
Spin
There
off
might
of
be
Billy
that. I don't.
and Luke's mom.
Maybe.
Or
I just remember having that like eureka moment after he showed him, like, why do I know this kid? Ooh, Red Ranger!
Yeah, he's in Power Rangers.
Okay.
Well, yeah, what did you hate, Ben?
What did I hate?
Yeah,
Oh
get
yeah.
on the hate train.
I
Here.
can't even like. I like a lot of the cool upside down stuff. So
I actually
like
thought
when-
it started out kind of slow.
That's
When
I
the
literally asked
kid-
you what you hated, and you just said you liked.
But we were talking about our favorite stuff, so I'm willfully
okay.
ignoring your question. So yeah, when like the kid, when the kid gets like taken over by like the shadow monster, that was kind of cool. One of the things
that kid's
I
a
didn't,
phenomenal actor.
Yeah,
One of the things that I
really-
didn't
really
like,
shined through in this season.
Yeah, it was like kind of agonizing to watch and be like, they made him stay quiet for an entire season.
yeah,
This
he's
kid's
totally
stealing
solid.
the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. One of the aspects of the show that I didn't actually like that much was when they were in the shed and they were telling him like these like nostalgic stories to try to get him to like tap out an answer about something like gate or whatever. I was just like, that's like so forced.
It was a
But-
little silly, but it also worked because they did establish that the kids knew some
Morse code.
before
Yeah.
that.
Not only that, but like it was, very 80s. We're like, let's talk about our feelings and like, past occurrences.
You say that like the entire show isn't built on the premise that this is very 80s.
It is very 80s. And you can excuse the really cheesy elements for being 80s on purpose. Next topic: which season did you like more, season 1 or season 2? I know this is going to be a super hard question.
I think
but let's-
season 1 was better.
I like season 1 better.
All right, let's.
I like
let's-
season 2.
Let's.
I don't like it when
Be
a
shut
show.
up a little
I like
more.
it when you're like just getting introduced to a show
Yeah.
and it's like relatively low stakes. I think every time a show jumps to its second season, especially something that's like a horror thriller or something like this, they do have to raise the stakes like much higher. Where
And
in
they
this
totally
scenario, it's
did
like,
that.
they're gonna take over the world. But in the first season, it's like we got to find our friend back, and that I think like getting introduced to like Eleven's story and all this stuff. I think that was like much better than
And there
in-
was only one Demogorgon
Yeah,
too, and it
yeah.
was like a big one.
it was like a focused like villain kind of thing, as opposed to also this is happening and the world might end and Bob's dead. And
It was a much more pure story
Yeah,
arc in the
yeah.
first season,
It was easier to follow,
and I liked that.
but I liked being forced to think a little bit more.
I liked both, but I think it's more like a preference of how you like the story, how you like a story to be told. Like I liked both, but I just like that kind of like simple, very focused. This is a plot.
Yeah, I totally agree, and that's why I like the first season more. But I didn't leave the second season feeling disappointed.
No, me
I thought they
neither.
did a really good job of raising the stakes to a certain extent and introducing enough new elements to actually make it a really watchable and enjoyable
I always
show.
think the challenge for sequels is like how do you raise the stakes without getting too ridiculous?
Yeah.
they were this close to.
yeah.
Maybe
Close.
that'll be for season 3. Honestly,
I'll tell you why I like season 2. Like the payoff for me was actually seeing so much of the character progression in effect. We got to see Steve grow up. We got to see Dustin stand up. Well, we got to see Lucas step up. I thought they really handled character development fantastically, arguably better than I've ever seen in most other things. And I think that's why season 2 appealed to me so much. Not that I discredit season 1 at all, but I was so thrilled to see these characters that you're invested in actually progress,
And you
but
got to
still
see-
maintain the key elements of why you fell in love with them in the first
You
place.
also got to have great pairings like Hopper and Eleven together. I mean, how great is putting those two actors and those two characters literally like in a room?
but you see him become a dad again,
Yeah.
as opposed to like I'm cold
they
and
got
shut
to,
off,
Yeah, they got to explore a lot of
coffee and
really
contemplation.
great character development.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I like season 2 so much. I totally hear what you're saying about how it got a little silly, and I like being able to focus on that primary plot of like, where's our friend? But season 2 had so many things that paid off. I felt like season 2 was a great conclusion to season
I am-
1, as opposed to an
was.
extension
I am
of.
just confused now. Like I was saying before with like sequels, how you always raise the stake for it. When they're talking about season 3 coming out in like 2019, I really don't know like how they're going to be able to raise the stakes without making it even more ridiculous. So looking forward to it.
I
kind
kind
of
of like the idea of sidestepping it and doing like the Outsiders in Chicago, or at least like presenting them again to a certain extent. Because
I would watch spin-offs.
yeah, otherwise
Duffer
you're gonna
Brothers.
have to like they're gonna have to like go to Mars to like raise the stakes.
Upside down Mars.
Upside down Mars and like the Demogorgon god on the red planet. I would watch that. You know what, Netflix? If you guys want to sign that idea,
Give this man a bag of money.
let's do it.
Do we want to take a shot at predictions of how season 3 raises the stakes?
Well, I think one thing that we could probably all agree on is that there's definitely like by ending with the snowball dance for this one, they definitely like have that kind of like circular conclusion. So I think that the next season is going to be venturing outside of the middle school realm, outside of them being in that sort of they've kind of closed the loop on a lot of those things that started in season 1.
All right.
Right.
So
the big adversary
so
is
it
going to be
turns out-
puberty.
So it turns out that the lab worker wasn't lying, and that evil doctor man is still alive, hiding somewhere.
yeah,
And
that's
then
gonna come up,
He
for
raises like an army of little like 11s or whatever, and all his little children to like beat up like 11 and stuff, and then take her back to the underground, to the Upside Down, and then the kids have to go to the Upside Down themselves, like without 11's help to rescue her. Like that's the new
that'd be
rescue
cool.
mission.
Rescuing 11.
Right, and then Darth Vader shows up and kills all the
No,
Jedi.
Disney broke off their deal with.
Yeah, with Netflix.
With Netflix,
They
all
can't do that anymore. There's no Star Wars crossovers.
Dang it.
Sorry.
How are we on time? I could get through a few more.
Well, I got an idea.
Okay.
I think that what we're going to see is a more true melding of the Upside Down into the real world, whereas not necessarily they keep crossing over back between the portals. I like the theory that the Upside Down is indicative and representative of the future. There's been a few theories floated about that, and the one that I latched onto most sincerely was that the spores that were launched at Dustin and Hopper
Yeah.
were just the beginning. We're going to see essentially a zombie movie in season 3, where it's going to progress in a very Stephen Kingy, where the kids are going to be
OD'd on
broaching in
zombies.
high school, and it's going to be drifting towards like how it was a generational divide, and that's why we're going to be having a delay in the release of season 3
Yeah.
from what we've heard. But the idea being that Hopper and Dustin become antagonists because now they're possessed. Will is still not fully let go, and essentially the Upside Down is recruiting real-world members as an invasive army, and then 11
virus, yeah.
has to respond by recruiting other lab kids to fight against him. So we get like
That sounds
an
pretty
essentially
cool.
kind of, like you said, the outsiders, and almost X-Men type force to fight against him.
Can Dustin do evil?
Yeah, he's the worst character.
Oh my god.
Dustin was definitely the
Alfred.
worst character of the season. Why did he
Officially
harbor? Why did he
excommunicated.
harbor an alien in his home? Okay, like a jerk, and then he lies to his friends. Friends don't lie.
Yeah,
Dustin
but
is
like,
easily the worst character.
but it worked out okay because weren't they like up against D'Artagnan at one point, and because of his friendship with D'Artagnan, they didn't all get eaten
Yeah,
and
the
killed.
faces didn't get eaten.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but what if another like Demogorgon dog had come by instead?
But it didn't.
I'm just saying,
That's
he's
a
you
hypothetical.
don't lie to your friends, man. He's the worst character.
Okay.
He's worse than Billy.
I'm going to put your home address in the description.
Right.
Ouch! Don't dox Alfred. He doesn't deserve that.
Also, Bill Murray should definitely make a cameo in the next season. But
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
so
know-
what
I did
other
like Paul
80s
Reiser.
what other 80s stars are we going to see pick up in cameo, because that was such a
man.
big payoff, was
Yeah.
to see Sean Astin, like the king of 80s kids movies, The Goonies.
Oh well,
Show
that
up.
means
I think Judd Nelson should show up.
what's
Right?
Well, they are going to high school.
Exactly, make him the principal.
Oh my god.
who's the
Make
girl
Judd
from the-
Nelson.
Who's the girl from the
flip
Breakfast
board.
Club? I'm
Molly Ringwald.
Molly Ringwald.
Just bring the entire
her back.
Breakfast
what
Club
about
in.
like Winona Ryder?
All right, we're done here. Goodbye, everybody.
No, seriously, like what if they bring him into high school, and the high school has been is administered by the members of the Breakfast Club.
That would be kind of awesome. I would totally be on board
Does
for that.
Billy beat him? Does Billy meet the rebel guy from the Breakfast Club, and then they have like a little stare down?
No, Billy just
That would be
bangs
super
everybody.
cool. Joan, I wanted to direct this more from like to a business perspective.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about serious stuff.
Yeah, just for a second here.
I'll
like
sit
this
out.
is also like how many Stranger Things we can expect by looking at it from a business perspective. So like, how important is Stranger Things for Netflix?
Right.
Especially with House of Cards ending pretty soon anyway.
Right. So Netflix notoriously doesn't share anything about their how much people watch their programs.
Really?
Except yesterday.
Because
when
I thought
did.
they would notoriously shame people about
How
it.
much
was just
you
once.
watch?
That
How
was
much
just
you
once.
watch things, but they don't say like, you know, Stranger Things was watched by 60 million people in however long period. They don't give out ratings data. But because it's annoyed people in Hollywood for so long, we're starting to catch up where there are these outside sources that claim that they can kind of gauge how big these shows are. And by all accounts, Stranger Things is like a gigantic hit.
Bigger than House of Cards.
Bigger
right?
than anything they've had before. House of Cards actually wasn't one of their most. It was Orange Is the New Black. Was kind of their
We could have a
reigning
crossover with that.
a reigning
That would be weird.
a reigning jewel or whatever. It was probably the most watched one before Stranger Things came along. And so, I mean, having a gigantic hit, you keep milking that cow. So
Totally.
there's no reason to think that they aren't going to
Have season
pull
3,
a Game of
season
Thrones
4.
and have like 5 different like origin stories or whatever HBO is doing with Game of Thrones once that ends.
Yeah, watch for the next season when Bub dies. Just B_ B's. All those.
I mean, like you also saw this with Walking Dead too. Is that
Yeah.
like they already like started doing a spin-off of The Walking Dead while The Walking Dead was going on. So I guess Stranger Things could accept becoming a universe. I don't really see it right now. I think you made a really good argument for it. I think from the business perspective that Joan, you just mentioned, it all makes sense to me, but I would hate to, I don't know, see the story suffer, but at the same time, I would probably watch all that stuff anyway.
I mean, what would they even call it though? If The Walking Dead is Fear the Walking Dead, which is a stupid name, would
Yeah.
it be Even Stranger Things?
Even stranger things. I don't know.
Stranger things.
Stranger. Strangest Things.
Strangest thing.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Either way,
Give him a bag of money, Netflix. Give him a bag of money.
I am looking forward to season 3 very much, even
Yeah,
if
me
it
too.
isn't coming till 2019.
It'll
Yeah.
be a while. Let's wrap up by just saying who your favorite character was from season 2. I'm gonna go with Hopper. I was very into Hopper. I thought he had like a lot of different emotions and a lot of stuff
Are
about
you
him.
following him, David Harbour, on social media? Because you should be.
Dude,
I-
he's gonna be
I will
Hellboy.
now. Okay.
He is going to be Hellboy.
So we'll be seeing more of Hopper very soon.
Yeah, Harbour's career is taking off. Didn't he just get a Golden Globe nod? I believe.
You're asking me? I don't know.
Either way,
You know
follow
what?
him on Instagram. Follow
If-
him on Twitter. He's going to be a meme lord. He's adorable. How much he loves his cast and how the little bromance is building with him and Steve right now.
All right, next up. Who else?
I love 11. I think Millie Bobby Brown is really a great actress.
Definitely.
That character is really fun, and she does a great. I mean, she had like 52 lines in the first season, and she managed to make that a super memorable character.
Totally.
Yeah, I think she's great.
Yeah, 11 is probably the most powerful character on the show. She, I think, could kill everyone in a fight if she had to. Yeah, she gets my vote for best character.
Cool.
It goes without a doubt, Papa Steve.
Papa Steve.
Yeah.
Nice.
Papa Steve.
That was really adorable.
Him becoming like the epitome of Big Brother and
Surrogate
Like,
Big Brother. Yeah.
I like that.
swallowing his pride and letting Nancy go, and everything about Steve was endearing. And that's coming from, it's like watching Chris Pratt's character on Parks and Rec, where you start off and he's kind of like partial antagonist. He's a pain in the ass. And then you end up loving him. And that's exactly what they did with Steve, a.k.a. the father of John Ralphio.
And Steve, yeah, was kind of a schmuck in the first season, as I recall. So.
Kind of.
At the
I
beginning,
haven't
but
watched it in a while,
I think
but
that
yes.
like they just liked the actor and thought that he was really great, and they're like, let's not make him be a total jerk.
he's getting a lot of like publicity now. He was on like some live stream from like GQ and all. Like he's getting like all these
Yeah.
media hits, and now Joe Keery is his name.
Joe Keery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's I've seen.
They
him
don't
on a
have
lot of
real
stuff.
names. They only exist in Stranger Things and Hellboy, apparently. Well, anyway, let's wrap it up. But this was a lot of fun.
It was.
Thanks everybody for watching. If you enjoyed the Stranger Things 2 conversation, or perhaps, I don't know, tech headlines, you can
Tech
check
news?
out Tech News, which we talk about sometimes. So either way, the podcast, which is called the 359 for some reason, is available on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Feedburner, Google Play Music, the Amazon Echo, and of course,
CNET.com.
thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.